Processing data. Performing an area sweep now. Crime alert. Error.
Oh.
Employee information not found. Identify yourself. Error. Transfer request not found. State your employer. Registered. A fine of 10,000 bits will be assessed in your corporation's ledger for failure to follow transfer procedures. Thank you for your cooperation. Initiating greeting protocol.
Thor, take me. I thought the chasm outside Stellar Bay was deep. This makes me nauseous.
I'll check it out down here.
Staying out of sight.
Sorry, man. Got it. Password. List of passwords, something called RAM. There are 3 columns, but one is not. Nice. Okay. The column is 3 Borst. That's the password, something called RAM 3 Borst.
I'm working as fast as I can, all right? If y'all would quit bothering me, I'd get this done sooner. Of course. Why? Well, you ain't authorized. Else you'd know the password, wouldn't ya? Fixing the FPS system. FPS system. It's redundant, Melody. Can you just let me work? I'm almost done. Forced pacification system. If the prisoners riot, we gas them. It went a little haywire after the last deployment, so here I am. Anyway, I need to finish this, so get out of here, will you? What? Why? Well, we don't always get what we want. Go on, let me do my job. Is that a joke? Y'all call me out to fix the FPS and now you're asking me who I am? Whatever. I need to fix this before I get in trouble, so stop bothering me. What? Why? Well, we don't always get what we want.
Girl.
Hey, you!
Oh, sorry.
All right, MSI. I'm not one for rousing speeches, but the captain needs our help. So get in there and fight! I earned a fine bonus. I just earned a fine bonus. Company ammo. Deal with this one.
Oh, awesome.
That was fun. Gas is incoming! Bring it down!
Oh. Okay, just double checking.
I'll be damned. I was prepping the studio for our announcement, and here you are as a bonus. And I see you've brought the kid along. Babysitters may be expensive, but they're worth it, you know.
Yeah, keep talking, pal. I'll just keep thinking of a place to bury your body.
Ah, I knew I smelled Monarch when you lot walked in. The stench of sulfur, depression, and desperate bravado is unmistakable.
Keep talking, and you'll be smelling iron. Ain't nobody so important I won't put a bullet in him.
When you go off and get yourself shot, try to avoid taking one to the face. I'll want it recognizable to show to my citizens. My word! You've correctly identified the most recognizable man in the colony. Remarkable. It's a wonder what Phineas saw in you. Then again, he's an insane person. Thankfully, he's our insane person now. A proper company man.
I mean, I just kind of want to shoot him right now, but...
Are you new here? I didn't think we were hiring more staff. Oh, that's great. Thank you, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Waste of company
This one's
ammo.
mine!
We'll get them.
Company ammo.
This is nice. Calm before the storm and all that.
All right, boss. I'm ready. Let's do this.
Captain, you have an uncanny talent for complicating my life. You've disrupted the balance of power. You've upset the natural order of things. You've introduced uncertainty, and there is nothing I despise more than uncertainty. Typical. Running your mouth in the middle of a crisis. It's almost as if you delight in chaos. I should have dealt with you a long time ago. You were always too dangerous to leave unchecked. Leaving you alive was my greatest mistake. But it is a mistake I intend to correct. I have Dr. Wells in my custody. Once I've secured his cooperation, I can move forward with the program. I can repair the damage you've done. I can set things right.
I mean, I'm remembering now in the moment that I did kill all those scientists that were in the tubes to get the chemicals just on the word of the mouth of the scientist. So I was just as careless with life as he was, so I can't really be that mad at him.
In that we are in agreement. An end to violence is precisely what I want. An end to chaos. An end to senseless loss of life. The only obstacle standing in my way is you. I take no pleasure in this, you know. I simply have no other option. Leaving you alive is too great a risk. Goodbye, Captain. If you insist. This prison is equipped with an automechanical warden. I've had it programmed to eliminate you on sight and rinse your remains down a drain. And don't worry. I will inform Dr. Wells that you died heroically, or something.
Noted. It's like 20 seconds. Last for 2 minutes, base health plus 25, thank you. And 200% natural health, 20 seconds, allowing 20 seconds. Last 2 minutes.
Don't mess with us.
Oh, sometimes playing easy is a little anticlimactic. But I also kind of like the idea that by this point in the story, like, yeah, like, be afraid. I'm Yetch the 14th. Hibernation chamber key. I also just think it's kind of funny that Ram. Interesting. You know, like it was kind of a joke.
Why won't you just die?
Shit.
Can we do that again?
Fucking Felix, great job.
Get me out of here!
Sealed.
You don't know how glad I am to see you. You did the right thing. Akande was a monster. Her death was much deserved, and long overdue. And you lunatic, you broke into the board's own fortress just to rescue one doddering old man. You are absolutely out of your mind, and I can't begin to thank you enough. Ah, all in a day's work for you, huh? You've broken the board's stranglehold on this colony, and you saved my life. But there's still so much we have yet to accomplish. You and I are going to have to work harder than ever to save Halcyon. I'm afraid the situation is far worse than any of us ever anticipated. I would like nothing more than to celebrate this victory, but we have a serious problem on our hands. Earth has gone dark. We haven't received a single message in 3 years. There's been no communication, no signals, nothing. 2 years ago, the Earth's Directorate's frigate disappeared on their way back to Earth. We don't know what they discovered when they arrived, or if they arrived at all.
Hold on, Doc. Are you telling me the Earth went dark 3 years ago, and the board's just been covering this up?
They've been incredibly effective at concealing the truth. Right now, the only people in the colony who know are standing in this room.
So we've got to make do on our own. Seems to me that'll make us stronger in the end anyhow.
You're quite right. We've got no choice but to make do on our own. We're in serious trouble, my friend. Do you know what this means for Halcyon? We can't rely on Earth for support anymore. We've been cut loose. We're entirely on our own. Yes, certainly. I'll help however I can. I don't know what happened, but something must have gone horribly wrong. I don't know why Earth's gone silent. I don't even know if Earth exists anymore. We have no connection back to Earth, and return is likely impossible. We're completely alone out here. I heard it from Akande herself. She tried to pressure me into joining her side, you see. Tried to make me realize that all hope is lost, and that we are alone. She was half right. We are alone, and we're going to have to fend for ourselves, because there's no telling what's happened to Earth. You might have heard of the Earth Directorate's frigate. Half the colony's entire military was on that ship. They were returning to Earth when they vanished without a trace. That was 2 years ago. We haven't heard a word from them since. Whatever happened to Earth likely happened to them. Yes, Akande mentioned as much. Earth hasn't sent us a single message in 3 years. No one knows why. Akande had kept the truth to herself, perhaps with good reason. Can you imagine what would have happened if word got out? We'd have utter pandemonium. Yes, you were the one who reactivated that relay station, weren't you? Any message from Earth would have arrived unencrypted. It's been 3 years since our last message. The board tried using drones to contact Earth. Every one of those drones sent back the same encrypted message. Earth is completely silent. I wasn't trying to hide the truth from you, but after all you've done, I owe you an explanation. Yes, I experimented on the Hope's colonists. Each of my experiments ended in catastrophic failure. Each of my subjects died in agony. You are my first and only success. I didn't tell you about the others because I didn't want to burden you. My failures are my own to bear, not yours. I'm not asking you to forgive me. Law knows I won't forgive myself, but I'm going to try to set things right. My apologies. I need to get a hold of myself. We've far more pressing issues to worry about right now. If you have any more questions, ask me. I'll answer as best I can. Yes, we do. You've done a marvelous thing. You've succeeded where anyone else would have failed, including me. We must begin the revival process immediately, starting with the Hope's brightest minds, and then we're going to fix this damn colony, one problem at a time. We're going to need a leader, and I can't imagine a better person for the job than you. What do you say, old friend? Will you help us? When I revived you, I thought you were going to help me save this colony. I was wrong. I had our roles reversed, you see. You're the one who's going to save us all. I'm just the one who set you on your path. You're the best thing to ever happen to Halcyon. If you want to take it upon yourself to lead this colony, you have my support. We're not a colony any longer, are we? Our last connection to Earth has been severed, and so we have been set free. Our future is uncertain, and no one knows what tomorrow holds. Exciting, isn't it?
The OSI teaches that everything in the universe happens according to the grand plan. But the stranger that arrived in Halcyon was an unplanned variable. From the moment he landed in Emerald Vale, his actions altered the course of history. The events on Tartarus brought about the end of the board's authority. But the board's mistakes would haunt the colony for decades to come. The damage they left behind would require the work of a generation to repair. Dr. Phineas Wells began reviving a handful of the Hope's colonists. Engineers, scientists, technicians, and intellectuals. They were among the brightest minds the Earth had ever sent out into the stars. The Hope scientists and engineers woke up in a colony descending headlong into total collapse. With no way to return to Earth, they had no choice but to band together and devote themselves to the cause of saving Halcyon. The people of Halcyon were nothing if not hardy. In the absence of the board's authority, many of the colony's settlements banded together with a single purpose in mind: survival. Life was especially hard in the years to come. Some towns dissolved by attrition and starvation, but most of them found a way to carry on. In the years to come, Halcyon was forced to reckon with its newfound freedom. The board was gone, and for better or worse, the colony was responsible for its own destiny. Sanjar's civil liberties and worker-centric policies were slow to catch on with the other corporations. But as Halcyon began its long, arduous journey toward recovery, many of Terra 2's smaller townships started adopting MSI's alternative corporate structure, and eventually became entirely self-sufficient. In the coming years, many of these townships managed to eke by, where otherwise they might have starved. Consumed by paranoia, Lilia Hagen took Sublight Salvage in a controversial direction, openly accusing board officials of an extraterrestrial conspiracy. One day, an accident at the Groundbreaker's docking bay silenced her forever. Time would tell if her replacement could keep the Sublight family together. The collapse of Edgewater left its workers bereft of any purpose in life. Most of them made their way to Adelaide McDevitt's camp, hoping to ingratiate themselves into her favor. Adelaide accepted only a few to her community. The rest were turned away and likely died of starvation. Nevertheless, Adelaide's camp grew into a well-established town. Adelaide McDevitt refused to cooperate with the ongoing effort to save Halcyon from collapse. A sympathetic deserter stole a copy of her research and delivered it to the Hope's scientists. It is unclear how useful Adelaide's research was. An optimistic estimate suggests her work may have bought Halcyon another few years of survival. Adelaide would never know. She died that winter. Under the leadership of Junlei Tennyson, the Groundbreaker held firm against corporate influence. The ship's mechanical stability gave Junlei the time to educate a promising generation of engineers schooled in her family's traditions. The future of the Groundbreaker looks promising. The rediscovery of the Hope and the abandonment of the lifetime employment program forced Byzantium to come to terms with some uncomfortable realities about the state of Halcyon. While Byzantines were reluctant to surrender the luxuries they'd grown accustomed to, the board's diminished authority gave them little choice in the matter. Nearly everyone had to learn to make do with less. Some even had to get jobs. It was a dark time indeed. Even the Gorgon asteroid, though a distant enigma to most of Halcyon, felt the aftershocks of your actions. The destroyed Adrenatime synthesizer became a symbol of the board's cruelty and a rallying point for Wells and his scientists as they sought to build a more humane, ethical Halcyon. They cleared the dead from Gorgon's laboratories and repurposed them to aid in the crucial work of solving the colony's nutrition crisis. Gorgon, which had once sown death and destruction across Halcyon, became a source of hope and renewal. The Gorgon Project's final explosive end was bittersweet for Olivia Ambrose. She wandered the colony's fringes alone, searching for others like her who despised the board and meant to destroy them. In time, she found Phineas Wells and his cadre of scientists, and she joined them in their efforts to save Halcyon. For a while, she even knew an uneasy peace. But for all that, Olivia found purpose in Wells' project. She was always haunted by the memory of her daughter, Minnie, who hadn't lived to see the better world they were building. She never did forgive herself for the horror her work had wrought on Halcyon. But she remembered fondly the daring captain who'd put an end to it at last. In spite of everything, the Gorgon asteroid remained a sobering reminder of the potential for progress and disaster in humanity's most ambitious efforts. The Rizzo's company in Halcyon dissolved after the collapse of the board. Needless to say, the launch of Spectrum Brown was indefinitely delayed. A stockpile of Spectrum Brown remains buried deep beneath the ruins of the old distillery, abandoned to time and attrition. As the board began to disintegrate, Spencer Woolrich found himself at a crossroads. Cling to what little stardom remained to him, or help usher Halcyon into its new future. To the surprise of many, perhaps himself most of all, Spencer chose the latter option. Having learned a variety of different skills in the many different roles played throughout his lengthy career, Spencer founded a radio serial dedicated to staying alive despite the odds. His subjects included how to survive violent encounters with only grazing wounds, dispense pithy one-liners for tense scenarios, and, of course, how to look good doing both. Due to the board's dissolution, many of the Prophet's old customers no longer found quite the same value in productivity seminars that they once had. With her business drying up, the Prophet chose to take her followers down a new path. Months later, salvagers on Eridanos found clues leading them to a seemingly abandoned bunker out in the wilderness. Inside, they discovered horribly mangled corpses, sacrificed to a blood-scrawled portrait of a sprat-headed deity. The Prophet was not among the bodies. Your influence shifted Ellie's perspective. She finally admitted, albeit grudgingly, that she just might need other people. Sometimes. With a steady income from the life insurance payouts, she was finally able to afford a ship of her own. She hired a small crew and flew supply missions to communities on the fringe. Some of them were even legal. Life in Halcyon was sobering for Felix Millstone. The grand revolution he dreamed of never came. There was no great awakening for the colony, no celebrations in the streets. There was only the hard, desperate work of trying to repair a broken colony. Felix never had a head for numbers, but if there was labor to be done, he was there to help. Eventually, Felix realized that the work of a revolution was done with two hands. As much as he enjoyed his adventures aboard the Unreliable, the vicar, known as Max, eventually decided that it was time to move on, to live out the life he had sought so long to create. He knew there were many in the colony who carried burdens much worse than the ones he had struggled with, and he devoted himself to easing their suffering wherever he could. He only ever took up arms again to defend the defenseless. Unshackled from a lifetime of striving and fighting the universe and himself, Vicar Maximilian de Soto was finally at peace. Once the matter with the Hope colonists was resolved, Junlei bashfully asked Parvati if she'd like to join her permanently on the Groundbreaker, and Parvati enthusiastically, if somewhat awkwardly, agreed. The stories of her adventures spread across the colony, and Parvati soon found herself the center of attention. Having served as the engineer of a renowned spacecraft, tramp freighters and wildcat miners sought her out by name, and in no time, she was a fixture in the Groundbreaker's mechanical ecosystem. She and Junlei were never far apart. Nyoka returned to Monarch to take another crack at making a permanent life for herself. She formed the Charon Group, an MSI subsidiary of ragtag survivalists and wilderness experts. Anyone in need of a guide, or just looking to throw back a beer and swap stories, could find her camping on the trail or clearing an infestation. The SAM unit that accompanied you spread awareness of the product line's superior sanitation and maintenance capabilities across what was left of the colony. This led to a boost in SAM unit sales. Did you know that SAM units are the longest-lasting, toughest-acting cleaning solution in Halcyon? Minister Clark was released from house arrest, and his contact with you gave him a sense of renewed purpose and vigor. Once it became clear that no help would be coming from Earth, he threw his considerable efforts and talents into helping Halcyon manage the crisis before it. As for Dr. Phineas Wells, he spent his remaining years in his orbital lab. He eventually came to terms with his own past, and was able to forgive the mistakes of his younger self by devoting his remaining years to serving the colony. Dr. Wells was able to revive many more scientists and engineers than he first expected, thanks to the additional batch of chemicals you stole from the Ministry. Wells never forgot about the human lives that were lost in acquiring these chemicals. In the end, Dr. Wells was able to save every scientist and engineer aboard the Hope. Over the next decade, nearly all of the Hope's remaining colonists were successfully revived. Halcyon saw a period of rapid technological and scientific advancement. Breakthroughs in dietary supplements saved the colony from starvation. Geoengineering projects and social reforms began to change the structure and character of the colony. Dr. Wells laid the groundwork for the project to save the colony, but he would never live to see the fruits of his labor. He passed away a few years later. His work was carried on by the scientists and engineers he revived. Today, Halcyon has stabilized. The people of the colony work hard to adapt to their new circumstances. Nearby colonies send aid and supplies. Life will never be easy in Halcyon, but for the first time in its history, there exists a sense of real, genuine hope about the future. And what about you, the unplanned variable in the history of Halcyon? Long after Wells passed away, you carried on his work with more energy, determination, and brilliance than he could ever muster. The years that followed were hard, but Halcyon survived by the efforts of the Hope's most promising colonists, the greatest of which was you. No one knows what's happened to Earth, and no one knows what the future has in store for Halcyon. All we know for certain is this: the name of the Unreliable and that of its intrepid captain will remain the subject of countless stories for years to come.
That was awesome. It was really long, but like, I think this is like 60 hours I played it, you know? Took my time, and it really felt like a really cool adventure. And even though like Yetch was not some incredible, unique character, the world that we explored was just really beautiful. It was awesome. And you know, I was thinking about this earlier with my brother-in-law. I was talking to him about like old Hollywood movies would make these like $60 million movies, and they weren't anything like big blockbusters. They weren't explosions, but they just like had really great writing, really cool ideas, thematically really strong, had something to say, and you know, and it kind of sticks with you, and it doesn't, you know, like I love getting into deep 200 hours of lore, you know. My Elden Ring played Slowthrough is long. That is a grand adventure, you know. And this was just, it's just really awesome as just a cinematic experience, you know. And now I can go back and watch it with a lot of like understanding of where it went, because I remember playing it when it first came out, but I don't remember the story this well. It was so much more immersive this time. I liked, at first I didn't like Monarch, but I think Monarch was my favorite planet. It just felt so prehistoric and future and alien in a way that is really cool. And like I don't feel like I'd ever feel that if I had just kind of like rushed through it or fast traveled too much. So it's great. This was a great game. I think when I'm airing this, it's going to be New Year's Eve, 2025, and so I hope whoever's watching this has a great new year, even if it's happening in a February or January or July, the middle of August, This was finished in the middle of September. And then I'm putting it out one episode at a time, every day. Yeah, I'm really excited too because I think I can get the full credits. I think I have I don't want to touch them on the remote. But yeah, I remember when I first played it, I was like, it's way too small. And then I remember playing it again, maybe a couple years back, and I was like, and I think I had just gotten off of Elden Ring or Horizon, these huge open worlds, and so I came back to this and I was like, this is so tiny. This feels weird. But then if you just let it be what it is and just really embrace it as an impressionistic, it's really immersive, and it's really, and again, the storytelling is awesome. The voice work is incredible. There's going to be a lot of AI games in the future, and it'll be its own genre, but gosh, you would never get that kind of unique, beautiful character work, and just the nuance of the way they say things, and it's just wonderful. I thought the writing was just so good, and it played this really good balance between really good satire. Really great satire requires you to be both, it's really funny, but also incredibly biting. And this one's really fucked up, and it's what's so crazy, what's so effective about it is that you can imagine that this is what corporations would do if they were allowed to, and until you have to, as the working class, as the people that actually do the labor, we have to kind of remind these mindless, pigs, these hoarders of wealth, who they are. I'm really excited about Outer Worlds 2. Comes out in a month. But I'll probably be really excited to play it, so I'll probably be having finished it before this is even out, which means that I could potentially be putting out Outer Wilds 2, early in the new year. But I am having a really fun time doing these slow-throughs. I sometimes think it's really a big waste of time, but also now that I am kind of seeing it as a playlist and as a whole insane movie, I'm more forgiving of the whole experience, and it's awesome to feel like you can hop into this adventure at any point, you know. And sometimes you want to just see this, or sometimes, you know, you just want to walk through the wilderness, you know. I thought this DLC was so good. I really loved it. I think it made what they were doing in the record in the main story, like they just took it in a much darker, like way more. There's a lot more anger to that satire, you know. It was sharper. Maybe it's the right word. I really like, in thinking about designing a game and the structure of a good game that I like having these zones that you can explore, but it still has a little bit of a fence around it so that you can just really sink your teeth into that zone and get a piece of the story that really enhances wherever you go next. And you know, and then by the time you have those two, then going to the third space, you're just like, you just can't wait to figure out, you know, that third piece of the puzzle, you know. And and the cool thing about it is, like, if you write a mystery in such a good way, that you can create that 3-part mystery so that it really can be rewarding no matter which way you go, and changes how it reveals itself, you know. And then if you can really think about, okay, they're coming out of this zone with this knowledge, how does that make them perceive the next zone, and adjusting the how you present it, things like that. I think that would be, that's awesome. And I feel like that's how the Gorgon stuff was. This one had some good, I liked conceptually. I think having Slug turn against me and then everybody was just shooting at me and then I killed the actress at the end was a real bummer. So I think I took it down a notch for that. And I think that constant pastel pink it kind of just made the whole experience feel very very yeah, not monochrome of course, but like, you know, very one note. But I loved the idea of it, and I feel like it was not fully there yet. I love but that said, yeah, I think it was structurally, and I think I got thrown off by it because I was basically running for my life a lot of the time, and so it really removed the pacing. So that mechanic I wasn't a big fan of. And the consumables were way too chaotic for me. I don't. The game's a lot more fast-paced. Like if I want to pay like a Paradox, like a Stellaris or something like that, you can get crazy. You know, where it's like, okay, I gotta sit here and read every item. But this game's wants to play faster, and so it was hard to. And then also I'm playing on casual, so I kind of knew I wasn't gonna get too detailed on consumables or weapons and armor and all that stuff. I kind of wanted to really stick with the story and the exploration. But it was really, but I loved it. I liked what it was. I liked where it went. I liked the tone of it. It was really kind of, it's a lot sillier. And the satire in that's not as sharp, but still biting. I'm trying to think of like what that spectrum is, because like Gorgon was like, it's like, haha, this is funny, right? And you're like, oh my gosh, that's so fucking dark. And then uh, the murder, the murder mystery it feels a lot lighter, but the more you think about it, you're like, wow, that's really fucked up. So they kind of are on this like spectrum of satire. So I thought it was great. And the main story too was very well paced. I didn't feel like I was dragging any parts. I kind of liked being on Monarch as much as I was, even though I got a little bored. But it kind of gave me this like, it felt like home, like it was like this place that, oh no, we're gonna run out of minutes. Oh, that's okay. This was a great game, and I'm so happy I played it. And I cannot wait for Outer Worlds 2. It's gonna be awesome. Outer Worlds. I'm gonna hope, cross my fingers, that we can get everybody in 40 seconds, but I don't think so. So to all the other people, they are awesome. This was a great game. I hope everybody was happy and treated well. The music was incredible. Oh my god. What a great score. Alright, this is the last word, so I just want to say it was amazing. I had a great time. And if you're listening to this right now, who are you? You're amazing. You're awesome. Say hi, and I say hi to you. Let's be friends.